Hi guys, so today I have another tutorial using a We Are Memory Keepers product. I recently picked this one up at Tuesday morning, but I know it's available on different, sites online there. So if I have any links in the description box, those will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. And yeah, whenever I showed this, people were like, yes, please do that one. Or that they already have it, or they're thinking about it, or however, so to tutorialize this one. So we will do that. As you can see, it's packaged up here. It does say it has a couple of stamps, and it has the rubber bands to get you started for the explosion card punch board. So I'm just going to open this up, and hopefully it'll be a little more straightforward than we're used to. A lot of the, than the normal instructions we get with We Are Memory Keepers. They're always, I feel like, open to interpretation sometimes, the way they word stuff, and it's like, that's not great. Oh, how funny. I was like, oh, let me get this because I thought this had a sharp point on it, but this is my older diamond press tacky tool that I had misplaced, so I opened up another one because I have a few of them, and this one has a sharp point, but I just realized this is this one. I don't even know how I got here. Very good. I probably, found it and thought it was this guy. I do try to keep this little lid on it. Just, this little lid, like on here, this one does stay pretty well. This first one, it would fall off a little bit. And this is like the original. I mean, they look very much the same, but maybe they did something different the second time. I don't know, because it does stay on a lot better. This one was just barely on, so I lost it right away. Let's see here. Let's open this guy up. And okay, there's not really much info on the box, so we don't really need to keep that. That's one thing though, whenever it comes with info, I don't know, do you guys keep all your little We Are Memory Keepers manuals in one spot? I think that'd probably be a good idea. I try to keep them along with the board, and then the boards are all over the place. I know they do have a little board stand where you can put your boards like this and they stand, so I would just like put the little books with them. But I don't have space for a board stand, so I have not picked that up. But we do have a ton of really thick rubber bands. My goodness, look at those. Super thick. So we'll see how that goes. Pull here, hold here. We have some acrylic stamps. And again, I don't even have to look, smell them or anything to know these are not photopolymer. You can just tell by the look. I don't know. And then if you touch them, yeah, they're definitely acrylic. So we have those guys. And then we have this with the little punch. And then, of course, your onboard scoring tool. So I'll put that there for right now. And generally, this says that you can make the envelope and the card itself on this board. Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice that that makes a little heart confetti. So I guess you can punch this, however many times for that to work. How cute though, because I mean, honestly, we have tons of confetti shapes, and obviously you can use whatever you want. Table scatter, little spangles and stuff. But from Die and Press, I have a ton of confetti dies. So we're going to just do what this tells us. Now, you do need to make the box, and if you're not familiar, it's like this. So basically, it squishes down, you're going to pull it up, and when it comes up, it's going to spring open, right? I had something similar with Crafter's Companion. I don't know if I still have it, but I haven't used it in a long time. It looks like we're going to use a huge piece of paper and then end up with something that looks like this. So that's kind of interesting. But we're going to do it. Okay, we're going to do it, guys. And then it needs a little tray, something to hold your little spangles or whatever that you want to put in there, which is very interesting. It's kind of like that diamond press slap. I don't know what I call it, slap. I don't know. The one that you open it and then it would pop out and it would throw like a little tray of confetti at you. Really cute. And then the envelope. So I don't know how quickly this is going to go. I feel like there's a lot of info here, a lot of steps to maybe do it wrong. But it does say you want to trim cardstock to 12-inch square. I'm assuming you already have a 12-inch piece of paper. I don't know how you trim it, but that's okay. Align right edge of paper to raised edge indicated as box on board. Okay, so let me grab a 12-inch piece of paper. We'll start with the box, the main thing here. Of course, you can top it off with decorations. You're going to have to know if it's like a 2-inch square. Just make a little matte layer that works for that. And then everything else that goes along with this. So I will be right back. Okay guys, so this is wide enough. Let's put these guys to the side. I did grab a 12-inch piece of paper that actually came from the paper pad I recently also picked up at Tuesday morning, and funny enough, it did have a little carrier strip, right? So I did have to trim it to 12 inches square, okay? So there we go. It is a nice 12, probably 13-inch, wide, because it holds that 12-inch piece of paper. And I'm using a paper that has a pattern. I don't know how that's going to end up at the end, but we will see. end up at the end. Okay, anyway, align right edge of paper to raised edge indicated as box on board. Okay, so if you move the paper, so it's funny, it does say box on this side. It's hard to see, but that's for something else. So it does say box right here. Now they say to put your paper in the raised area. Now, if I read this wrong, I would put it here, right? Because why is there a marker there? But in the image, in the picture, it's showing it just being here. So I am going to put it just like the way they showed. But again, those kind of things can be, you know, deceiving. I don't see why you would stick it outside of the edge, though. You know what I'm saying? If I was to try to use that line that's marked. So I'm just going to assume that's an arrow and not just a little arrow like saying, oh, place it here. We're going to get this guy. I am super afraid of this, you guys. Not going to lie. Score paper at all score lines from numbers 1 through 8. So we're going to follow 1 through 8 so we don't forget anything. Okay, so 1 is over here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, you just go along. So let's just, again, keep our paper from moving. Ooh, I do not like when things fall off the side, guys, because then I feel like I damaged it. Where is the actual line for this? Okay. You can divot it right in there. And then it's going to end somewhere like here. I don't like when you go off and it's like you're going to tear the paper, you know? Okay, so 3 starts here and goes to over here. Ugh. And 4 goes in this other direction. Now you can move the board, of course, to what's more comfortable. I do like when you see the end of the board like here, because then you know when to stop and you're not messing with your paper. But as long as this stays butted in, you're going to be fine. So 5 starts here and goes to there. 6 here to the end there. And 7 goes this direction. I do not like that. Okay. And then 8. Now this is not the heaviest weight paper. I would say it's probably 85 pounds. So we did that. On the back you can see all the different lines. And then step 4 is to flip paper and rotate 90 degrees clockwise, align right edge of paper to raised edge. Okay, and again, I'm putting it right to the end. Clockwise. Okay. So not gonna lie, after I did all my scoring, I skipped one crucial word in the instructions. So I'm just gonna take that out because it's not worth wasting your time. So we did all our 1 through 8. Okay. And I know it's hard to see, and then I did it quickly again just so I can repeat it, and of course I went through my paper. I'm telling you, I hope we don't need that because it's very easy to go off the edge. But anyway, just be careful. I was trying to be careful and I still tore my paper. So we have all our lines. Again, I'll just show you like I did earlier. Okay. So step 4 says flip paper and rotate 90 degrees. Clockwise, of course, I only rotated it basically because I was thinking, oh, flip, like flip. But they meant, let's put this back. We just scored it. We did all our things. We ended with number 8 right here. Now we're going to flip our paper over, and I'm just flipping it over, okay? Just one over, and then rotate 90 degrees. And I don't know if you can see on the back here, it has that 1 score line, which is basically that 1 score line that came from here. It's just the back side of it, okay? And now we're going to put this here. Okay, so now step 5 is to score paper at all score lines from numbers 1 through 7. And so we're going to do it again. 1, 2. I'm kind of ending it a little bit short just in case, because I do not like ripping through my paper. 3. And then 4 is on this side. 5. 6. And 6 earlier too. It's already done for you just because it's already done. So if you want to score it again, you know, go for it. But it's pretty much already done, so I'm not going to mess with it. And then 7. All the way to the end. Again, try not to rip through your paper. So only 1 through 7 there. Now this is fun. Cut along lines indicated in red. Use score lines as guides to cut final shape. So we're going to be very careful. Now, I don't know if they flipped it back. Let me see. It looks like it's still here. It would be easier for me to go this way. 2 there. 1. Okay. Yeah, I think we're okay. So I'm just flipping this. It was like this. I'm just flipping it over so I can see what's going on, and I'm lining it up so that one score line. See, this one only has one score line. This one has 2 in the corner, and this one also has 2 in the corner. You want the one with the 1 score line to the top right. Okay, I think that's an easy place to start with. And then it says cut along lines indicated in red. Use score lines as guides to cut final shape. I feel real weird about this, but I'm gonna cut this one off first, this top corner. That way I know where I'm oriented. And actually, you can take this to your guillotine. It might be easier to go from the outside in, because obviously this is a big 12-inch piece of paper. Put it on your guillotine and just chop it, or your paper trimmer. I'm going to cut it. I know it's hard for you guys to see probably, but I need to be able to see the score lines. Okay, so now we have kind of a space, an orientation here. It does say to cut down here. I don't know why, because there's nothing to cut. And then cut this off. So we're skipping this whole area. There's a line here that goes this way if you want it to, right? So we're going to cut this. I don't know why they didn't just show you to cut this whole thing off in red. But okay, we're going to cut that. And then cut over. As I'm saying, you don't need this, so why don't they just show you to cut off this whole thing? I'm going to cut that whole piece off. Okay, I'm keeping it here for you guys. The top one with that one line all the way down to where the next little, it's like a little block here. I don't know if you can see that. And that's basically what we want. So it's from there, it's telling you to cut, not on the second line, but on this first one, right to the next score line. And I know it might be hard to see it, but I can see it in real life. And then we're going to cut up here, and basically we're just taking this little piece out. So up here, across, so up on that score line. And then across here, so double, see this little square, we're going to end up with 2 of them together. Like, let's not cut that. So I guess that's why it doesn't matter if you gouge your paper, because all this is going to be gone anyway. Then we're going to cut down, but this time we are going to leave this little piece right here. I don't know if you can see, actually, I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of this off just to get rid of it. They're like, only cut out the red lines. They should just show you that it's all red. Like, this whole thing should have been red, in my opinion. Okay, so we have this. Again, this is that top corner. Down here, we cut across these 2. And now all we're going to do here is come down and then keep that tab. Basically, it's a tab. You see how there's a line here, a line here? Hopefully you can kind of see. There we go. Line there, line there. We're keeping that tab. So we're just going to cut down here and keep the tab. So I'm going to turn my paper so it's easier for me to cut. Tab. And then basically all the way up to where we cut before. And then you have all this waste. But of course you can use it for something else, punching and whatever else you would want to use that for. Basically you're looking for this shape. You know, they could have just had a die that's about this size. Would have been better. But of course this is a punch board. We're doing something different. Okay, so now we have this. It pretty much looks just like that, which is number 7. The paper should look like this after cutting. It says, we got it. All right. Step 8, line up. I'll give you a closer look at this though, guys. Tab, or like, you know, square. There's a line here that we're going to be scoring on. Another square with a score mark. Score mark, score mark, and then this guy with its tab, basically. So now we're taking this, and it says line up edge of paper along raised edge indicated as box on back side of board and punch. So we're going to turn this way, and I'm telling you, I better do this right the first time. I don't want to do this again. It's going to be like this. Look at your picture. And what's interesting is that now they're showing you this tab piece is like down here. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. I definitely want this piece of my paper to be out. So let me look ahead a little bit and make sense if I can punch it on one or the other. It looks like it may not matter. It should line up okay, so it doesn't matter. You just want to get it punched. So I'm going to punch it the way they're showing, okay? So I'm going to flip this over, because otherwise it wouldn't look like this picture, right? With the tab down here. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to take it here. And it says to line it up. It does say box right here. I know it's hard for you to see, but there's like a little, you can see that little glare. And obviously the shape of it matches really well. So we're going to butt that up right there and give it a punch. And that's how you get the heart, but you also get that little notch that you need. And then, let's say just a line up edge, you know, and punch. Flip paper and repeat step 8. So I'm going to flip the paper over. And now it looks like this, just like in the picture. That tab is down here, and we're gonna line it up again. And now we're punching on the opposite side of that little like triangle area that we created earlier. So same thing for this one, we're gonna turn it. So I guess I could have done this to begin with, right? These people, I'm telling you, oh my God, look at their instructions. You saw that, we did this. And now on number 10, they're like, oh yeah, we already punched this side with the tab. No, we didn't. That was the other side. Or, do you know what I'm saying? You see the way the image shows the tab with the punches, but we were actually doing the other side with the punches. It doesn't matter. You're just taking all 4 of these guys, and however it lines up here, if you have to flip it or whatever, just punch them, is basically what they're at. No, not like that. Gotta flip it, sorry. And then get the other one punched. Right? Okay, so now we're in business. Kind of weird. The pictures are misleading. That's why a lot of times I don't... You really gotta read and look at the pictures and see if there's something different. Rip paper notches above punched hearts. Okay, so these little notches that are here, it says to rip them, but I'm not gonna rip them because, you know, we're gonna cut them. Okay, guys? Looks like a little bread tag. The reason you're doing this, and the reason it didn't cut it already, is so that you would have the confetti option. You know, if they made it so it's one die, it would get stuck or whatever, I guess. So, now, we're almost done with this guy. Glue triangle edges and bottom edge. So, these guys are going to end up on the inside. I'm going to give it a score right now. So, scoring this one, or however... these guys, and then score it down the center, and these are going to glue together like this. Okay, so that's basically what they're showing there. So I'll do the same thing with the other one. Basically, in, and then these guys are going to glue together. Flap to flap like that. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I think once you get it down, it'll not be an issue. It's just, you know, this is my first time. I've never seen anything about this, so... And that's what I do here. I know people will leave me a comment, you should watch a video, whatever. The whole point is me just opening it up, just like you would at home if you never saw the video, or if you just saw it at the store or whatever, and you gotta figure it out. I mean, obviously you can look up a video. Maybe you don't want to look up mine. The ugly truth. But, there we go. So... that's notched open. You probably could have glued that together and then cut it, right? I don't think it had to be cut at the other point. And actually, it'd probably make it easier if you just didn't cut it until afterwards, because now we have these notches to deal with. But that's okay. Let's put a little glue there. And hold these two together. Sorry, I was just holding this. I was going to move on. But one more thing in this one step, 13, it says glue triangle edges and bottom edge. So I think that's ready. So we have something that looks like this, kind of funky. And we're just going to fold that over, obviously in, and we're going to glue that to that tab. Hey, I did a pretty good job cutting, huh? I am going to just stylize it a little bit. I'm going to notch this out just so it's not right on the edge. Just right to the score line, just notch a little bit away. I'm going to score it right now, and we're going to glue this together. Again, they did all that in step 13 with like 6 words. I don't know. I wonder why they don't send me things to review. Just kidding. All right, let's see here. Actually, have you ever seen that We Are Memory Keepers has any people that they send stuff to? I don't know. I never really paid attention to that, so maybe they just keep it in-house. Okay. So basically that's it. Oh, I didn't score this other one first, so we'll score it now. Something like that. Again, this is not the strongest paper in the world, but that's really big. I thought it was going to make like a little tiny thing, so that's pretty cool actually. Okay, let's see here. Fold and form a cube, which we just did with step 14, and insert rubber band in slots. Use 2 rubber bands for a stronger explosion effect. These bands, I would say they don't look super like it's going to stretch that much, but let's just use the one for right now. So I placed one and then notched the other one. Let's see, how do they stretch? Like this? Okay, alright, we're getting an idea of what that looks like. Okay, there we go. And so you can choose 2 if you want like a more of a bounce, but we'll just leave the one for now. Tray. To create a tray, trim cardstock to 5x5. Okay, the little tray is like this inside piece that looks like this. So maybe I'll grab like a little light green piece of paper, something that matches. I don't know. I'll be right back. We have a 5-inch square here. So let's turn this back around towards us. We are working right along here. Okay, 5-inch square. Align right edge of paper to raised edge indicated as tray on board. So when you look at the board, this one says envelope, and this one says tray. Sorry, I don't know, it's hard to, the envelope, tray. Maybe you can see little words there. So we're gonna put this right here. And they're saying to score paper at tray score line, which is number 5. So that's interesting. Oh, just this little piece here. Number 5. And flip paper and repeat step 3. Now flip paper, all they're saying is to score it on the other side. So, you know, to me flipping is this, right? But right now it basically just means turn it to the other side, but maybe it does mean flip, you know? That's, Anyway, it's the same side. Look, it fits in here perfectly. I don't see why you can't just turn it. So I'm just gonna turn it just to keep the score lines on the right side. On the other one, you did literally have to flip it, but see how they use that interchangeably? It's like, I don't know. Okay, and repeat step 3. So line up edge of paper along raised edge indicated as tray on back side of board and punch. So all we're doing is we're gonna turn this over. So all we did was score that one little, and then it even has a little picture for you. And what's nice is it actually tells you here like 5-inch paper, 8-inch square paper, 12-inch square paper with a quick reference. So once you get going, you kind of know what you're doing. You probably don't have to refer back to these so much. So that's really good. Really cool, really good. And I said really something weird. Anyway. Okay, on backside of board and punch. So we're going to line it up right here. Where does it say tray? Back up in here. It says tray. So we're going to line it up here and like this. So the score lines are parallel, horizontal here. We're lining them up this way, okay? Again, picture. And a lot of times I show the pictures and I'll show you guys again because you might lose your instructions. The other thing is, see how these are this way? They're horizontal. In the picture, they're showing you the score line is vertical. So I'm telling you, it better be this way. Yeah, it must be because we're going to do some other stuff here. So, okay. So weird. All right, so line up whatever in the board. This is still number 5 and punch. And this paper is much thicker than what I used before, so there's that one. And then flip paper and repeat. Now this time we will flip because if I just turn it, it's not going to work, right? So we need to flip it and line it up to where it says tray and repeat. Wonderful. Okay. Wunderbar, as they say. Now, number 7 is cut along red lines, which is just to notch this out. So right on the score line, you're going to take this away. And right here, too. Okay. Same thing on the other side. I would probably clean that up a little straighter. So notch it out there. I don't know. So on this side, same thing. I'll notch it closer to over here so it doesn't look weird. And then this last piece here. Okay, so there's like the little tray holder thing. And fold along score line. And we're going to fold this up. This is some thick, thick paper, so I'm going to do that way. Okay, so that is what they call the tray. The other one is called the box. And then now an envelope, you guys. To create an envelope, trim cardstock to 8-inch square, which was indicated on here, so that's really nice. So I'm going to grab something that matches this, I don't know, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have an 8-inch square piece of just white paper because I was looking at the paper pad that this came from, and everything has kind of like a pattern. Like this paper would have been good for an envelope because it doesn't really matter which way it's going, but everything else kind of had a certain way, and the way they're designing the envelope here is it's going to be like at an angle, you know, like this. So unless you cut your paper in a weird way that you're going to notch out all this stuff, usually you have a 12 by 12 piece of paper, an 8.5 by 11, you're going to cut it like this, right? You have your paper and you cut and you cut. I don't know how you get a shape like this out of a 12-inch piece of paper unless you really like do the math to angle the paper correctly and all that. So to be able to get that. So because this is going to be at an angle. I hope that makes sense, right? You're looking at it right here, you're going to fold this. Obviously, if this is a paper that's designed this way, your envelope is actually going to go this way. So just keep that in mind, because the worst thing is to do it and then be like, oh, this looks crazy, you know, so just, I don't know. But I have this plain paper, again, 8-inch square. Align right edge of paper to raised edge indicated as envelope, which of course I think by now we've got it. Okay, envelope. And then again, they make it so that it's impossible for you to like make it any bigger or whatever, so that's good. I mean, these are all kind of fail-safe, so that's nice. And then we take this guy, score paper at envelope, score line A and B. So that's interesting. I was just going to point out what they mean by A and B. Actually, numbers 3 and 4. So why would they even say A and B? Just say 3 and 4. Right? Does it say A and B somewhere on here? I guess here, envelope score line A, envelope score line B. There you go. I guess that's, again, if you misplace it, you remember that those are the score lines. Like this one says tray score line. So if you lose your things, that's a tray score line. This is the envelope ones, and then everything else is obviously for everything, right? So, okay, all right, I get it. A and B. All right, so 3 and 4. This paper is super thick. 3 and 4. So now that I've worked with this a little bit, I can see that everything else that matters, where you're still going to see something, you don't go off the board, right? With the paper, we did go off the board and I gouged it and all that, but it doesn't matter because you're going to cut that away anyway. So I guess that's why for them it didn't make sense to make this a huge board. Like this is plenty to still cover everything you needed. So there you go. All right, number 4, rotate paper 180 clockwise. It does not say flip, it just says rotate 180. So we just did that. This is 90, this is 180, right? 90 is the next side, and then again, another 90. And this time again, oh, I cut my paper a little bit too big, see? Handmade, let me cut a little bit off that edge. Oh my gosh, you guys, it was literally this amount. Okay, so let's pop it in there, and now we fit. And it says, repeat steps 2 and 3, which are basically to do 3 and 4. So 3 and 4. Okay, so there are all our score lines. Again, here's your basic envelope. Now they're saying to turn it. This is nice. I was gonna say now you would just cut those out, but they're gonna let you notch it out with this punch also, I believe. So again, we already did all our score lines. So now it's saying to line it up, number 5, where it says envelope, which it says it right here, envelope. So we're gonna line it up there. I guess it doesn't matter where we start. Align left edge of paper along raised edge indicated as envelope, and punch. Oh, we're just gonna use that little bottom part of the heart, because again, we brought it down, right? If it was up here, you would punch the whole thing. Okay, so right down here, and rotate paper 180 clockwise, repeat step 5. That's weird. Okay, rotate paper 180 clockwise. Good thing I started punching this the way they were showing, right? The small side and then a long side, small side, long side, because now they're saying turn it 180. So now they're saying to turn it 180. So that was the top. 90 degrees is this. 180 is one more, and then we're gonna line it up again. And now we're doing the opposite side basically, and that lines up. And then it says flip paper and repeat steps 5 and 6. So now that we're here, we're gonna flip the paper. And this is weird because if you repeat steps 5 and 6, you can't even get it in here. They just want you to go back to the small edge. So basically that small area. Do you see what I'm saying? Where it's longer here and the smaller, that's where we're trying to punch. So here, and then rotate 180 and go back to this last little piece and line it up. Very technical stuff for things that don't need to be that way. Okay, and now we're just going to score like you would an envelope, right? So I always, whenever I make score lines, I like to put that towards the back. Like I don't fold this way where the bump is and bring it forward. Does that make sense? Anyway, that's just what I like to do. I'm sure everyone has their different ways of how they like to fold their score lines. So there's that. Hey, so far so good. I might chop this little top piece off because that's the kind of thing I like to do. So it says we fold in the sides, fold front, flap, and glue, and then of course the top part. So you always have this kind of thing. I know with Sarah, she'll, Crafts Companion Sarah, she'll like just fold it over, but this paper's really heavy, and you can also just cut it. I just want to make sure if I cut it, this one is very close to the edge there, so if I were to cut it, whew, I am just trudging along there. And if you were to bring this to like a a machine or a guillotine, whatever, you want to cut off like at 1.5, seems like, right? 1 3/8, I don't know. All right, and then I'm gonna put glue here because I don't really know how far in it goes. And here. And not too much, obviously you don't want to seep in all the way out there, but you can also use a double-sided adhesive. It does look like this will come up, and let me put a little glue on this just to adhere really good. So very edge of the outer flap, very edge of the bottom here, I think is the best. Okay, I'm gonna hold that down, and I just cut that off because I don't like the way that looks. Hopefully it's not necessary to be there. They're like, you need to leave that for this to work. Oh, that'd be crazy. But anyway. And then punch confetti using scrap pieces. So I do have some scrap pieces here already, right, from what we punched earlier. So I'm gonna get those guys. And I'll get some other fun colors. So I hold it down, I always check that I didn't glue it together, obviously. Let me get some paper to punch and we'll put it all together. So we have a few of these. And I guess I'll just take this, just scraps of paper, and just punch a whole bunch of little things. Giving myself some room so I don't end up punching into one of my, you know what I'm saying, if you leave it here and you might have like a part of the heart because you punched too close to the other thing. Okay, there's some of those. This green paper. Again, super thick paper. I'll just continue going along. And I'll just punch a few more out, okay? And I'll be right back. That's enough. Maybe one more from like right here. And let's see what we got. Cute. Okay, so we have our confetti. And last thing is all this. Oh, use stamps to add details on tray. Okay. The only thing is this is very shiny paper, like slippery paper, so this is not going to be great, but let's just say... oh, interesting. They even want you to put information on the envelope. I was going to say use stays on, but the only thing is with that, it's very dry, so this might not work out, but that's okay. It's just for demonstration purposes, guys. Let me get this on here. So this is step 1 on assembly. My stays-on's a little bit dry, probably because it's 15 years old. So that wears on an ink after a while. Not too bad. There we go. I did juice it up really good though. Inked it up really well. Oh. Okay, so we have that. And then how about the bottom? It says use stamps to add details on envelope, like if you would like to. Okay. So down here, kind of interesting. So we're going to stamp, hold here. And it's kind of off to the side, but I don't know. I guess I'll just put it here. In the image, it looks a little bit off to the side. Okay. Stays on so funny. It's like trying to hold on to my paper there. Alright, so we have that and this, and let's get this out of here before I stain my envelope. Hopefully I don't have ink anywhere else. We have our little bits. Okay, take tray and insert box into it. So this is our little box. Now, of course, it doesn't go this way. That wouldn't make sense. It goes this way. And if you want to decorate this, which would just make it more and more sturdy, I would definitely do that, obviously. Oh, let's see how big these are. Oh, you know, I can just... Ooh, no, I better measure it with a ruler. I was going to look on my map, but it's not an even number as far as like 2 or 3 or something. It is 2 7/8 inch. Yeah, 2 7/8 inch square. So maybe you want to do mats that are 2.5 inch square. That way it makes it kind of easy. But let's go ahead and open this up. Insert it. Box into it. Insert confetti above box. Oh, that's interesting. Well, I'm gonna do that after I get it in here, I think. So we can insert that a little bit like this. And I'm letting the envelope hold it down for me, you know. And this stuff should be on top, is what it says. So on top of the box. I don't know that that's not going to shift. That's weird. I'm assuming the bottom of that tray is going to help you keep it there, but won't that shift like while you're... I have no idea. That's weird. Okay, and then let's close that up. Cute. So you close it up, and then you're like, oh, your recipient receives it. They go to open it. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'll probably try and slow that down and show it to you guys again. Okay, well that went absolutely everywhere. I'm left with, oh you guys, this is what happened last time too. They're on my shirt up here. I know I just flicked them off, but anyway. That kind of thing it's fun. It is so much fun. I'm just concerned like once it's gotten to where it needs to go, will it be like shifting around so much that the confetti. So I wonder if you can tuck some in here. You know what I'm saying? Even if it flies open, it might just fall down. I don't know. You think it might fly out. But it worked right now, you know, to show it to you guys. Again, I'd rather tuck this in here before I put my little pieces on. So let's try it again. Let's reset it. And maybe if you're afraid that they're going to move around too much, I would tuck them right into the tray. Even though it just shows you to put them on top, I would tuck it like into that little tray area. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. Well, this is cute. Of course, not as many as the first time, but really cute. All right, it worked out. I think, you know, we've got some things squared away as far as how to punch and all that, and where our lines are, and flipping, right? That's a big deal. But okay, guys, thanks for watching. It's so cute because it looks like it's such a little bread clip. Honestly, what I would do is cut pieces of paper, like, let's see how wide they might need to be. I have a bunch of bread clip dies, well, not dies, but like die cuts on my Cricut. Let's say it's about 1 inch wide maybe, and then maybe 1.5 inches long or something, and then you go and you punch it like down the center. It'll look really cute because it'll be a little bit longer than this. It'll look like a little bread tag. Anyway, alright guys. Thanks for watching. I'll have images coming up. I'll have links in the description box, and I'll see you guys. Taking pictures, I just realized you might want to know. I mean, we talked about this being 2 7/8, so that means double that is the width of it. But the envelope itself that it makes is just under 6.5, 6 and I don't know, 3/8, I suppose, by 4 3/8. That's good for really good for an A4 size card, and I usually make my slimline 6.5 by 3.5, so not quite for the mini slimline, but you know, just seems like a very standard envelope. All right, guys, bye now.